Okay, it's your boy Kamal Hart on the chart, and we're going bar by bar. I had started a previous video, and that got corrupted for some reason, the file. So, what I see today, I see the downtrend. There's a breakout, move to a new low. Um, Kind of this reversal pattern. It pulls back, so it's looking a little rangy in here. And then this little micro trend going up here. We had a break, two legs down. Here's a second entry long, and you get enough for a scalp there. I actually didn't take any ES trades today because I traded the Asian session on the NQ last night, so I didn't really bother to wake up this morning for the open and all this stuff. So you can see now we're kind of going back. We try to make that retest, but it fails, closing back down. So really, I'm looking at this kind of like a range. Um, you have your higher low there. That's a double bottom, but it's going a little sideways, a little aggressive to buy that. And then we're looking for the failed second entry, the next bar to like break above, which is here. If you would have entered on the limit or a stop once it broke above, you would have gotten in no problem. Um, if not, you can't wait for this close. That's too late to go long in this situation. And then now you get that kind of like reversal engulfing bull bar. If this low is a single low because of the double bottom, that could be your failure as well. So I'd be willing. This one's going to be more aggressive. I think like this is a good trade, pretty safe. Um, Pretty safe trade. This one is pretty safe if you enter it correctly. Um, but then this third one here, that one's definitely aggressive. That's going to be a little. We're already at the highs. Um, I think what you're looking for, you know, best case scenario is something like this. But still, we're right at these highs, so this could possibly fail. It doesn't though. We get a nice push higher. I'm not willing to buy up here though. That's a little bit too far extended now. Um, we're making higher highs and higher lows. I'm trying to see where is going to be the best place to start my channel from. Probably here. You can see you get the three touches. I like that. Then we're just going to bring that over. It's a little bit of a breakout on this side, but I could just move it up higher. I just like having at least two touches. So we'll see how this responds. We'll probably move this up just a little bit. And then I can put the midline on there as well. You can see how that entry is coming off that midline. So, that trade's not in our, oh, my bad. That trade isn't in our strategy though. So even though it's just like a higher low bull signal in a tight channel, you know, if you're being aggressive, you can take that, but I'm gonna pass. And you see how we make that measured move pretty easily. We're even touching that other side of the range or the channel pretty easily. Um, and yeah, that's where we're gonna start getting some resistance. You can see now that's like a failed break above, close back inside. That's the second entry long right there, but the way that signal set up with this red bar, I'm not willing to buy up here, and I would not have been willing to enter once it broke above. I would have waited for the close. So this one just didn't set up very well. There's a little second entry right there. Here's the higher low. Um, this is an aggressive trade. I'm not gonna take this. I really only like taking the second entries, and the higher lows I save those for if I'm in like a clear range. So I'm not gonna take that one either. But that's aggressive if you want to go long there. and it stops you out. So um, there's a double there's a double top right there, which means this is the like a first entry. So I'm gonna wait. Let's see if we come back to the trend line. Going sideways, you got that higher low, but it's just a little too sideways right now, just so we can see it better. You can see that little congestion zone right there. So I don't want to buy the breakout. I'm just waiting. Breaks out really strong. That's okay. It goes without us. Um, that's our breakout pullback right here. It's kind of like a higher low setup. I would almost say it's a failed second entry short, but off this low, it doesn't break higher and it makes the higher low. So really, it doesn't quite fit with what we're looking for. And we're back at these highs. So I'll probably skip this, but this is aggressive. Doesn't look like it's going to give us what you need anyway. Yeah, it's one of those ones to skip. The higher lows really are only a good trade at the range. I don't recommend them over trending like this. You get a reversal pattern here once it breaks below. I'm not going to take that short, but I'm going to respect it. And see how it moves outside, setting up to make another leg lower. But really, we just got to see what's going on right here. We're getting close to this trend line. Ideally, I want to buy it. That's a second entry long off this high, first entry, second entry. But we're kind of moving down, and we're going right into that EMA. Let's see if we can get above that EMA, and then take those trades. Yeah, that one doesn't work. And at this point, since it's turned down a couple times off that EMA, I want to give this more validity. I can say that my downtrend is actually a down channel now. Something like that. Get it done. And let's just move back to the overall context of the day. You can see that we're kind of trending higher. We have highs way up here though, so it's kind of a range, to be honest. We can put the lows somewhere around here and the highs somewhere. We don't have enough highs to really give this, except for the most recent ones, which are like right here. There's clearly some more price action up here. So until we get a strong turn off this high side, I don't really have, other than these ones right here, so I'll just keep those in mind. But I don't really see, maybe over here a little bit, you can see some stuff going on. So I'm just going to use my short-term trends to like keep me on the right side for now. So, we're moving down. We need to look for shorts, good shorts. Let's just see what sets up. This is a first entry, so we're not taking that. And now it's closing back above this EMA, so it might break out, move to a new low, keep going higher, or we might get that reversal pattern and just keep going higher. So it's pulling back, and then see right there, that's the reversal pattern. So you can go long there. That's definitely a setup. It doesn't go far though, so let me turn that off. Okay. Doesn't really go that far, but you get your scalp on that. Here's our first entry to the high. It's a failed break lower of this sort of area. It's almost like a re-entry pattern, honestly. It's It's very close to a re-entry pattern. But you can see we're just kind of like, it's like a congestion zone. It isn't technically set up the way we like seeing it, like over here, like the way it did here, but um, you can tell we're just going sideways. I want to see a breakout pullback in either direction. So it looks like we got the breakout pullback short. And really, I think what's going to help us the most is actually using these highs. This is definitely a range. So like this and that. Yeah, that's probably the way I'm going to look at it for now. So really, we're just in a range. I want to make sure I'm buying on the bottom and selling at the top, sort of thing. So I'll be looking for buys here pretty soon. Here's kind of like a breakout pullback, but it doesn't actually break below. So that's a pretty good sign. And when you get this green bar, it looks really tempting. Like there's a lot of support right there, but I'll wait for the higher low. Yeah, see, if you enter, you get stopped out. That's why we wait for that higher low. Now we get that kind of push back into the range. Let's see if we can get a pullback, which is right here. So here's the, it's a double bottom, higher low, but this signal bar isn't great. So we can wait for one more push lower. If that sets up higher, we can take that one. But this is pretty much just going sideways right now. Yeah, you really got stopped out of that one as well. This is interesting. This is a second entry long from this to this high, first entry, second entry. And then if you think about all the congestion we have here, this is almost like a breakout fade. So it's aggressive. I might take that. Ah, man, stops you out. The reason why you could probably see this as not a good trade is just two things are going on that I ignored. We got the breakout pullback right there for sure, right? Because it broke out of our range, closed outside of our range, closed back inside the range, and now it's closing back outside the range. So we definitely have a downtrend just through here as well. And so I'm kind of going counter trend on that. The only reason why I liked it is just this congestion, like second entries with the ranges. They usually work even when you fade them, but there's just too much downward momentum right now. So, in fact, right there, when it took one above and then reversed like it did, that's a reversal pattern. I don't know if I'd be willing to reverse it right off the bat, though. But that's a reversal pattern, so let's see if that does anything. Yep, that gives you a nice trade. So if you were brave enough, you would have reversed that trade given the new context and could have probably made those losses right back. But you know, there'll be more trades, so sometimes you can just wait for a better entry. And then this one really breaks out. So really, we just have a channel overshoot. Um, let's see when it decides to bounce because we can't even go short all the way down here and stuff. Here's that higher low that we're talking about, really far from that EMA. I don't see enough other lows to make this like a range trade. But if you know what's going on here, that's a higher low counter trend channel overextension. I really like to wait though. I want to go with the trend as much as possible. We already got burned once trying to counter trend it, so I would skip that setup for now. Yeah, and get burnt. It actually doesn't even trigger, to be honest. If you were going for the higher low never triggers, so you wouldn't have been in. Now we're getting another push. Here's another higher low. Fails as well. But all these shorts, we're too far away from the EMA and on the other side of the channel. Can't take them. So really what we're doing, you can kind of see that there's a range. Maybe not as pretty as most days, but there's a range in this area. So really we're going to be looking for a bounce off these lows and seeing what that can give us. something like there. Okay, so we push on through those lows, get a nice, bull breakout right there, micro trend. I really want to see what this higher low looks like right there. You might have considered that. You might have considered going long there. I'll wait for one more pushback, see if we can get it like right here. It's a little sideways, so that's an issue. But you might want to risk that. Yeah, just a little bit. Scalper's profit. I wish one of these would just run on us. These aren't going very far. See like a micro trend off the low side there, and then probably something up there. So it depends on how you manage this trade. You could still be in this runner. I don't know if I want to add more contracts in right here. It's not really a setup that I look for, but if you manage your runner correctly, you're probably still in, and your target is obviously midline and the other side. So we'll see. I like how it, see how that reversed off this upper channel. That's a good look. That's just floating in the middle. It's not off the trend line or the EMA. It's the first entry to the high. It's not what we're looking for. That's the second entry right there, but once again, that signal bar isn't that great, and then the trigger bar is too big. I wanted to enter up here, but once it broke above right there, see that lip? It was this high, went higher once, pulls back, now it's going higher twice. Just thinking a good setup on that. So here we go. We're back on this upper side, which is unfortunate because I want to take more trades, but as we move higher, I don't want to buy on this side of the range. So we're going to see how this channel holds and figure out if there's any more trades left on this side. That's the first entry to this high. See how I was going sideways right there? It's not that great. I'm looking for if we had a swing lower. We have a double bottom right there, so I can use that as my new swing low. And you kind of get like a attempt there, like see right there. Just not a great. That's a second entry long off this high, went higher once, pulls back, makes this sort of hammer off the double bottom right there. So it's a higher low or a reversal pattern, whichever way you want to see it. You might have been aggressive in taking that. But the only issue I have with it is like once again we're back going long on this upper side. I try to avoid that. So like here's probably a more clear reversal pattern in my opinion because we have the double bottom, that's one low. Then this is all one low, so that's the higher low. It fails, so this is the reversal pattern. I'm just not going to go long on this side. So and it would have worked. It's aggressive because you have to you really got to break that rule. So as we continue higher, this channel is holding really well. I mean, if you took this trade, you could be holding it still. Nothing has swung lower, so could have been holding this still. Might be a little difficult to do in reality, though. You can see now we're getting that first breakout and kind of a swing lower. So you probably would have been exited somewhere around here when you started moving below the EMA for that runner. But here I'm seeing that, okay, we got at least a micro trend here. There's a second entry long right there once it breaks above, second entry long. Let's see how this shorter term trend plays out. And then right here you get a reversal pattern, but it's like it's really congestive. Too many things going on in this spot. You can see that you'd be selling the breakout. There's just too many things going on in that spot. Kind of like a fake breakout, close back inside. You can see it's just going sideways, but it does eventually move down. So we had the leg down, breakout, move to a new low. Let's see if we start getting that reversal pattern. Doesn't happen. Oh shit, I think I still have. I thought I cleared all my charts. And now we're trending lower again, so it didn't check up, which it still could. It still could check up, but typically what we're looking for is it won't cross the CMA on that checkup. So it still can. Let's see. Once we're in the middle of this range, though, it's a little tough to know where we're going exactly, so we're just gonna have to wait, find out. And I really don't want to be going short on this side of the range either. So it's like I'm kind of in that no man's land for a while until I get the setup I'm looking for. So I would just let it keep going. Probably go, get a drink or something and come back. Just trying to get some setups off the lows. Let me take this off chart. Um, you know, you can see like this is a second entry short, but we're so far from this EMA. This breakout trend is pretty strong. Now, if you're being aggressive, you're selling that. It's a little sideways, so maybe you're not selling it, but you can see off this low, first entry, second. That's the first trade I see that's like actually a setup. It's just not, it's not in a good spot. See, it goes just enough to get you a scalp and reverses pretty hard. This almost ends up looking like a re-entry pattern, but it's not off the EMA or anything. It's first entry to the low. Nah, I'm good. It works its way down. You can see we're going sideways. Just like ranges within the range, and you just try to be mindful of them. You can always find little trades off these little boundaries here and there, but I try to mark all of the micro trends that I see, but I want to trade the biggest pattern. That's where you're going to get these trades where you're in here and you can hold it to up here, even this one. See, you're in here and you get all this runner. All these trades up in here, that's baby money. So we are getting a bounce, starting to get a breakout of this. Let's see, maybe a breakout pullback is gonna go down. So it's pulling back. So like right there, broke out pullback. The setup isn't great for the breakout pullback if unless you're going to be aggressive. So you might go long there. I'm gonna wait for one more. It didn't give me, so like right here, it didn't give me exactly what I wanted, but here's a second entry long right there. That's kind of a breakout pullback. It's going to be aggressive. I like how it's a small bar too, so your risk is pretty small here. And that one shoots off. And you're still going to look for this pullback, and if it fails, that's going to be a good place to go long again. See, like right there where it fails, so I'd probably enter there as well. Doesn't go far. Enough for a scalp. Yeah, you get enough for about two and a half points or so. So that's an okay trade. It doesn't look that big in comparison to all the movement today, but I mean these are little base hits. You make some money off those. So what's it doing? Really, what it looks like it's doing is just like this range, just kind of like expanded, something like that. So it's just like a range. It's really just still in the range. And so if I would have had these lines on my chart before taking these trades, I wouldn't have taken these trades because you can see I'm on the upper side of the range going long. It's not exactly where you want to be, and you can see neither one of them really give us a big move. So we got that new low, and then it bounces. It's kind of like trading in this upper half. It was like in the lower half. Now it's trading in the upper half. Here's a higher low. You got that breakout. So now we could probably see a breakout pullback. Like right here. It's an inside bar, so that's like not that good. But if it breaks above this bar, that's an okay place to go long as well. Right there. Um, and then if it does break above, let's just say that's the micro trend. So here's the issue. It broke above and then closed back inside. To me, that means people aren't trapped. And when people aren't trapped, this trade is not as high probability as usual. So I'd have to scratch this trade, probably break even +1 right here on that wick. I try to exit and I just tighten my stop 2 ticks below this little doji. And so I would have got the scratch and the scalp, but you can see it almost threatened to stop me out too. So the probability gets, you know, unpredictable when this bar closes back inside. So yeah, I would have got the scratch. I wish maybe I could have held. So, but look, if you would have held, see? So that, I mean, that's exactly what I mean. That's why I scratch when I see it like that, because that's usually what happens. It goes, look at this. You would have entered 51.75. That's a 4 tick fail. It goes, it touches your take profit, most likely doesn't fill, and then hits your stop losses. So that's why I just tend to scratch. I would have felt nothing when it did this because I wouldn't have been in. I would have made a take a profit, maybe wait for another setup. And what we're looking for is there's probably going to be a reentry. Like when this fails off this EMA, if this upper line becomes support, you might get that reentry. Like right here, you get the reentry. The setup isn't so clean. It's a second entry long. See off this double top, like first entry. It's a second entry long, but the setup isn't clean. Maybe it's like a C setup. It's like because I need to see these bars look a little different to really convince me this is a good trade. But there's the setup, and it would have failed. And you're getting another setup right now because this double top becomes a single top. That's the first entry. If it breaks above, that's the second entry. The issue is that we're going sideways for sure now. So you're going to have to sell that breakout to this high side, which it's not that big of a zone, but you can tell it's just, I'm out. I'm not going to worry about it. It does decent. Now here's your higher low. It's kind of in that same predicament of this bar inside of that bar inside of that bar, but this is a smarter trade. I think it's a better place to take a trade. I'd be willing to take that trade. Here's the thing that I want to emphasize to myself is like, once again, take a good look at the overall picture. Which trades are giving us the most money? Shorts on this side and longs on this side. Like, look at the longs, especially recently. Look at all these longs. We're getting money off the longs. Look at the shorts. You can make some money off there, but those really aren't even setups, to be honest, right? So I'm just trying to reemphasize, like, it's so counterintuitive, but the best place to trade a range is buying all these buys up here and selling all the sells on the way down. So much smarter. So it's kind of closing back inside. You can see I tried to buy that breakout of congestion. I might get punished. But it does break out, but you can see the sideways motion. And sometimes you're going to have to take a little bit of a gamble. I really need to avoid dealing with this area at all, but sometimes you take a gamble and it pays off, especially we're using all the other things in our favor. It's a breakout pullback. We're on the low side of the ranges. It's a good signal bar. We're expecting it to at least come test maybe this area. There's some other things going on that probably helped that trade go through. You could see if you entered this, there's no exit signal, so you're still in. Let's see when we get our next exit signal. There's only about 10 more days or 10 more minutes left in our day, so let's see what our first exit signal becomes. So that's that. This is a reversal pattern actually. See how this low is lower than these swings? So it went lower once, it fails, it's going lower again. If that fails, if this wasn't like a confirmed range area, I would say go long right there. But the other thing that's an issue is that you're so far from this EMA. It's a little too risky. And then let's just break it down, like the technicals. Like look at that. That bar, inside of that bar, inside of that bar. So doesn't look like it, but there's a little zone there. It's crazy how often this works. There's a little zone right in there. You'll be surprised. But it shoots out, breaks out. It's pulling back. So would you take these shorts? No. Well, this isn't a setup. Like that's not a setup. So, that's not something you'd worry about. Here's the breakout pullback. It seems too aggressive to buy this. Triple top right there. The failure pattern was right here, but you can tell there is definitely some bull momentum. Aggressive traders are probably buying all of those pullbacks. It's cool. I can wait. I can wait for a deeper pullback. That don't press me at all. That's getting confusing, so let me just make this a little lighter. So we got something like that. I could probably even make it tighter, to be honest. I could, because this is all congestion, so I could just go from where it broke out. I just go from breakout to breakout, from here to there, to the breakout pullback. So it's probably the channel we're working with for now. See how that plays out. It breaks out, it fails, probably gets stopped out, and it just pulls back to this EMA where we're expecting it to pull back to. That's a first entry. Doji bars. Little strength. Ends up working. It's okay. That one shoots off. You see we have the break, move to a new high. Basically, that's the end of the day, though. Don't be too quick to short this. I would look for a second entry short. So I'm not shorting this yet. And see, like, it didn't. Here sets up the second entry short off this to this low, like the first entry, second entry. But the fact that we're still pushing new highs makes this kind of risky. So I would just wait, and because really what we can see how many times we're bouncing off this EMA. There's definitely another trend, and this is what we were talking about yesterday. So if we have another trend right here, and this trend exists in a larger range, we can see what the range is, right? So what I want to do to really make sure I'm good to go short is, as long as I'm inside this channel, I don't want to take these short setups. All these range short setups inside the channel, those are not going to be the ones. We want to wait till it breaks out, and then we'll start taking it. So while we're in this channel, that's what's keeping me out of all these short positions. And seeing this is this is a breakout pullback. Like once it closed right there on this green bar and closed right here on this red bar and then closed right here on this green bar, it's a breakout pullback. So I'm already looking at, okay, maybe there's a channel. This could start going higher. And the only reason why I'm going to forget about this bull channel is once we move outside or have that reversal pattern lower, then I'll forget about the channel. But for now, I'm thinking, okay, this might keep going. So that gets us into 12 o'clock. You can see it kind of just keeps moving sideways. There were some trades today. I mean, about an average day. You have to sit on your hands for a little bit in here and then in here. I think that's the thing. It's just you see these big moves and there's no trades on these big moves, and that's kind of like, man, there's got to be something. And if you're being aggressive, you could probably find something. But I think the thing about it is, if you're being aggressive, you'll probably find the wrong things as well. Having such a a harsh filter on my trades allows me to not take that many losses. I don't take that many losses because I don't even consider too many areas to be trades, right? If I look at my chart and I can always find a trade, well, then I'm more likely to find places where trades fail because nothing is 100%. Even a day, there are like 2 or 3 trades early on that failed. Now, you look at the difference of a failure, if you lose a point or two on a bad trade, but then you win 7 points on your winners, another 6 or 7 points, you could have had a big one there as well. This one is pretty decent as well. So you can see that the runners on certain trades are massive and they would make up for 1 or 2 losses. So, yeah, of course, I would love to find these entries up in here, but when they're not there, they're not there. And when they are there, they'll be more reliable. So that's it. It's your boy, Kamal Hart. I'm signing out. Tomorrow's Friday, last day of the week. Let's close that thing out real strong. In fact, that'll be the last trading day of the month. So, first month in 2020 is in the books. Man, and I had a rough start, but I think I'm pulling back out of that. Um, I'm pretty happy about that. Focused on the process, focused on my strategy, and the drawdown goes away. So, I will be back to do it again tomorrow. Kamal Hart out. Peace.